Today we will be discussing the importance that Anatsui had in modern art,
as well as some of his most famous works, Old Man's Cloth and Versatility.
I'm Ryan.
Sony here.
I'm Matthew, and let's begin.
Anatsui was a sculptor from Ghana, born in 1944.
Influenced by the imperialism and consumerism present throughout Africa,
He was prompted to start creating sculptures out of compressed bottle caps and copper wire, called gawu, which means metal or fashion cloth in his first language.
Well, not really sculptures, but rather paintings, tapestries, and sculptures in one.
it's the only way to describe such a fluid art piece. Every new time it is installed, it is put into a new, unique position.
Additionally, the works of Anatsui were also inspired by the Sankofa movement, a sort of cultural renaissance that took place in Africa.
This movement sought to unite past artistic traditions in Africa with more European aspects, in this case, trade.
In almost all of his artwork, Anatsui expressed the transatlantic slave trade through the use of bottle caps, which represented the exchange of products like alcohol for slaves.
Furthermore, the use of beer caps also represents his culture's tradition of honoring the dead by pouring alcohol on the ground.
Who would have thought that what seemed to be a steel blanket could hold so much meaning?
It would have been uncomfortable to sleep in for sure.
Anyway, one of Anatsui's most famous works, Old Man's Cloth, was created in 2003 and is considered to be an abstract piece.
He definitely weaves the bottle caps and wire in a way, creating a tapestry with a shifting grid of stripes, shapes, and color, much like the textiles his family worked with.
There was no patron, and it was public for everyone to see, most likely because it represented the Sankofa movement, which expressed Anatsui's viewpoints and ideals.
Furthermore, because it is such a pliable work, it is unique every time you hang it up.
Just like a tapestry, it can go from a flat sheet of metal to rippling waves in a sea of bottle caps.
As for the scale, it is around body size, hence the name Old Man's Cloth.
This name ties it in with African tradition and the effect European trade had on even the clothing that Africans wore.
Speaking of, the art piece has a very distinct golden color, alluding to Anatsui's home country of Ghana, also known as the Gold Coast.
Rather, that was the name of the British colony before Ghana was even recognized as a country.
In addition to these examples, the purpose of this work was to remind the viewers of the uneasy history of trade between Europe and Africa, and the effects of it many years later.
As the style is abstract, it is very expressive, evidenced by all the examples provided before.
You definitely cannot make out any shape or form from the cloth, even less so once it folded. You definitely cannot make out any shape or form from the cloth, even less so once it folds and bends.
There is no function besides its purpose to promote the cultural renaissance and support his ideals.
Its formal characteristics include the unique properties of Anatsui's gawu.
Because it is made out of aluminum, light bounces off the surface.
In addition, any curves and folds in the artwork varies this effect and reflects the light in many different angles.
What's unique about the gawu is that it can be 2D and 3D, like a piece of paper. It can be bent and folded to create a 3D sculpture.
Additionally, the lines follow said curves. In other words, the formal elements of this work are controlled every time it is installed.
As for the balance, it is an asymmetrical piece.
It sure is impressive how detailed these works are.
After all, he dedicated his life to crafting these.
Another one of his more famous works is called Versatility.
What a confusing name.
It's very similar to Old Man's Cloth and almost all of Anatsui's works.
This one was made in 2006, 3 years after Old Man's Cloth.
It is made with the same abstraction that Old Man's Cloth had to it. The colors and shapes in the art all sort of come together, creating a melting pot of creativity. However, what distinguishes this piece from the other is the motif you can clearly see, which ties it to textiles.
Not just any textiles, the motifs resemble those found in kente and andrinka cloths.
There was no patron, and the site was public, just like Old Man's Cloth. As for the purpose, versatility contemplates life's many twists and outcomes, and how we may need to adapt to them.
And of course, it also supports the Sankofa movement.
The style is abstract, just like Old Man's Cloth. And its formal elements are similar as well. Apart from the golden color and changeable curves, the lines dividing versatility give the work some stability.
As for the composition, it is asymmetrical, although the lines help balance the work out.
I think it's great how each of Anatsui's works are so unique despite being very similar at the same time.
See you next time.
See you next time.
That concludes today's discussion.